Hello everyone, you're watching an English CSO program, Diplomatic Corner. Today I'm sitting with a young Pan-Africanist. We're going to talk about the younger people of the continent Africa and the nation's integrations and the sustainable development that the Africa want to bring and the role of the young people toward this bringing sustainable development in the continent Africa. Stay with us. Well, Mika, without further ado, just let me give you the opportunity to talk about yourself.
My name is Mika Chavala, and I'm an African. And I was born in Tanzania 31 years ago, and I'm a founder of Swahili Nation-One Africa. This is the foundation that is basically deal with uniting Africa, both Africans in the continent and diaspora, our brothers and sisters outside of the continent. So we're working every single day to bring our people together for the unity of Africa.
You've been many times to Ethiopia, particularly to Addis Ababa. So tell us about your impression about the capital Addis Ababa and what you feel about Addis Ababa.
Yeah, one thing about Addis Ababa is changing all the time. I've been here in Addis Ababa 6 times right now. Yeah, and every time I come, I am surprised with something, like because I see something new every single time that I come. And I think not only that, but also the people here in Addis Ababa, I think it's the reflection of the entire country of Ethiopia, because you have like all the tribes, you have like all people, you have like all backgrounds, you have all professions, people with job, people without job, so it's kind of like, if you want to, some people they criticize that, oh, you always just go to Addis Ababa, you should go to another place. I would love to go to other places. By the way, I've been to Hawassa, I've been to Abamish, I've been to Zuwai, I've been to Doza village, I've been to Bale, I even climbed Bale mountain, but I think here in specifically here in Addis Ababa, it's where you can find the combination of all Ethiopians together. So Addis Ababa is the reflection of one Ethiopia and the unity of Ethiopia that we all want.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about diplomacy. I
Yes.
think it's said that all the citizens in a certain country should be diplomats. That means it needs to defend the sovereignty of the country, the interest of the country. In this regard, what you're doing can be exemplary work for Africans.
Yes.
So particularly the youth,
Yeah.
the younger people of
Yeah.
African
Yeah.
should work for
Yeah.
their country. So in this regard, what is your idea?
Africa belongs to the youth right now, because more than 60% majority of Africans are youth. If you look at the statistics in Uganda, in Tanzania, in Kenya, in Ethiopia, in Egypt, in different countries across the continent, you realize that youth are more majority than senior citizens. That to say, this is no longer the time to focus on the elder generation only, but it's the time to focus on the youth generation. For instance, our forefathers, Haile Selassie, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, Kenneth Kaunda, Patrice Lumumba, and all these, Thomas Sankara, all these leaders, we recognize them as old people, but when they started to fight for the continent, they're actually young people. So and that's why it's always my call to all younger generation that the time to fight for Africa is right now when we're young, because when we become old, we're gonna be just like sitting down, drinking some coffee, and talk about our legacy. But right now, when we have strength, right now when we have capability, ability, when we have power, when we can, today I can be here in Ethiopia, tomorrow I can be there, I can be all over the place at the same time because I have power. It's the time for you to take initiative and not only to sit in the back seats, but to step forward and to start implementing these initiatives that we want for the betterment of our continent and our people.
Yeah, because the young people are equipped with that power. Yeah.
Exactly. We have energy, we have power, we have strength, and we could use the wisdom from our elders, and we just march forward. Yes.
we're using electricity that we generate with this clean energy, which we generate from our rivers, that to increase the integration and the unity of the region. And we're selling electricity to Djibouti, Kenya, and we're trying to finalize agreements with Tanzania to export electricity. All this adds up to the idea that we need to have a regional bloc, that Africans were one and we're friends and partners, that we have to use the waters of the river, as I have put it, as a Nile community, that we have to use the resources that comes from the water to share and to prosper our societies and our countries.
As an icon for regional integration, as it has been stated in the past, the Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is considered as not only a national grand project, but rather a project that will connect both the upper and lower riparian countries. Especially our region is impacted with energy deficit, as we all know, and the fact that the dam is now almost being completed, we anticipate that it will add up to the energy production of not only Ethiopia, but to the whole region. And the fact that energy is a major factor for development, it will have a positive add-up effect to the regional economic integration, as well as political cohesion. So, as the Ethiopian government has been stating in the past, we are ready to integrate and partner with both our neighboring countries as well as lower riparian countries.
What about the integration of African countries? That means the integration to people. Who belongs to different countries in the continent of Africa. So this particular forum is about integration. So reasonable utilization of resources. It is not peculiar to water. So in terms of uniting, integrating the African countries, one of the things is to utilize the resources. So what is your take on that?
You know, Sam, talking about uniting the continent, I think we need to prioritize what comes first, what comes second, what comes third. For example, I appreciate this initiative by Ethiopia of AfriRun, the third summit, that it's basically bringing together 12 different countries and talk about how can we share our resources, the water resources, instead of fighting, instead of quarreling, instead of threatening one another. Let's come together and work together. That's a good initiative. But also I think, mostly I think when I'm talking about prioritizing, you know, our unity is, I'm talking about borders in Africa. I'm talking about visa, right? Requirements. Today, you know, I was telling my neighbor that coming here to Ethiopia, I had to pay $50 at the airport. You, Ethiopian, if you want to go to Tanzania, you have to pay a lot of money. And you might not even get a visa. Traveling in the continent, within the continent of Africa, it's very difficult. So look at these 12 different countries that has, you know, this river, whatever, we share these resources, but we still need visa to visit one another. So the unity we are talking about, this could be just partially about sharing our resources, but what about integration between one country and another country? What about doing business with one another? Today, I can come here to Ethiopia and I'll be able to open my business, to pay tax and do all this stuff. But right now, is it possible for me to do that here in Ethiopia? Or you, if you come to Tanzania, it is possible for you to do that unless you have a lot of money. So I think the continent has to focus on the priority, and that is visa. That is passport. We should have African Union passport. We should open up the borders and have free visa, you know, so that people can traverse within the country, anytime they want, of course, not illegally, but legally, you know what I'm saying? And I think we should focus on the currents. For example, if you want to integrate people, you need to focus on the currents. For me, in order to come to Ethiopia, I had to change Tanzanian money to dollar, and then dollar to Ethiopian birr. The same thing if you want to come to my country, or if you want to go to Kenya, whatever. But what do? We promote dollar money, and we keep the value of our currency keep depreciating, while the value of the dollar keep increasing, because that is the medium of exchange in the entire continent. But why don't we use our own currency? Like, I'm coming with Tanzanian currency here, I can change to Ethiopian birr, just like that. Or you come with Ethiopian birr, change to Tanzanian currency. If you do that, we promote our money and we increase the value of our money. Not only that, but we can work on having a single currency for the continent, because we want people, we want a business, we struggle through the same thing, we have the same issues. If we can share our resources, then we can share our currency, then we can share our economies, then we can open the borders so that our people can move freely in the continent. And I think as a result, if we open this stuff, eventually you just find out we are one people. We don't even need to say, now we are one people. No, if I can come to Ethiopia without visa and just enjoy my time, and you come to Tanzania without visa, we are basically one people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're advocating for a single passport for the continent of Africa.
Exactly.
But
African Union passport.
yes, what I have seen is it's been always rhetoric. People have said a lot about integration, about just business interactions between countries, and without having something in the middle. But it has been still so difficult to make it a reality. Because of the external pressure, because of the internal inability of the Africans. So what is that you'd say?
It's simply because we are not united. We are very individualistic. So let's say Ethiopia collaborated with China or with Russia, Tanzania collaborated with USA and France. So if we want to come together as one people, these superpowers, they don't want that to happen. And because we're very individualistic, nothing is happening. But if we come together as one people and we have a single voice, it is very easy to make it possible. Okay, you said this thing, like people have been advocating for over 60 years, but it's not happening. Why? I have a simple answer. The answer is because we have a few leaders who are not willing to take a risk and to make decision. It's very easy to unite the continent, very easy. But people who are in charge, they're not willing. Look at African Union. It does nothing, to be honest. Like, it really does nothing to bring about the unity of the continent. It does nothing. And what is the problem? No, you have someone who his first agenda or interest is not about the unity of Africa. It's about the unity of Africa in 2063. Man, 40 years from now. No, we cannot allow that. So we as a youth of Africa, we say, no, we want unity of Africa right now, right here. You who are in power, you need to make that decision. You either gonna make it happen, or you leave the stage and let others step in and take care of that. And we have seen in Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, you see what they've done. They took over the government, and now Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, they're one people. Like they unite together. They form asylum, and they're one people. They're like, okay, if you're gonna come after us, we're gonna come after you. They kicked away France. Niger, just a couple of days ago, they kicked away United States troops. They're moving away from Niger. That is the unit. It's very easy. If for the entire continent of Africa decide the same exact thing, that okay, now we need to partner with one another in action, not just with words, because we talk a lot in Africa, but we don't act. If we partner in action, just like Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, if we do that, nobody is going to interfere us. No one. Because unity is power, and we will sit at the table of decision making. We're not going to be asking, give me loan, I want it. No. We're going to be partner. We're going to be setting down the deals and, okay, what do you want? You want this? We want this. Okay, we agree? Okay, let's go ahead and let's do it. Just like that.
Let's talk about the potential of Africans towards changing the continent Africa, or towards bringing sustainable development.
Yeah, I think a lot of African youth, they are hurt by the governments and they are hurt by the politics of Africa. and by the leaderships, a lot of African youth, I talk to them all the time and I see their heart. They don't want to hear nothing about politics. But it's my call that, hey, this is not just about politics, this is about your life. Because politics affect our lives every single day. And if you know that, then what you're gonna need to do is that to make a decision that from now onward, I want to step in, because I'm not just a fan of politics, no, but I'm a fan of my people. I don't want to see my people dying. I don't want to see my people dying because of hunger, or because of war, because of conflicts, or because of division that we have, or because of their religion. I don't want to see that. I want to see my people living together in harmony and in peace. And politics influence that a lot. So if we as a youth, we're not going to step in and actually engage ourselves in politics as well, and working towards the betterment of this continent, then we're not going to see the change. So my call to all the youth is that be involved. Be involved. If you want to run for the government, run for the government. If you want to be in a certain sector, go in that certain sector. Be involved and think about the next generation. Don't just think about right now, right here, and me. No, that's very individualistic. Think about we, about us, and about our children. What kind of future do we want to create for them?
I wish just all the younger people of Africa would have
Yes.
these in their mind.
Yes, sir.
I think the continent will be dramatically changed.
Indeed,
Yes.
indeed. It's possible to change this continent. Because we have poor mentality, we end up in the poverty situation. But we are not poor, we have everything. We just need to stand up, we just need to believe in ourselves, and to step up, to do everything we can to transform this continent.
So in this way, sustainable development will be on the continent Africa.
Yes.
Yes. Are you optimistic about Africa in the future?
Sir, thank you so much for good questions. I am very positive, and I have so much hope for this continent, because I see the wave of younger generation coming up and fighting for the continent. Like we've spoken about Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. You have seen Senegal, what has happened. You know, the youngest leader in the continent. I see hope, because I feel like African youth, they're tired of everything. And they just want to see change. And they know that in order to bring change, we need African youth in the government as well, to lead us, to stand for us, and to take us to the next level. And so I am very hopeful for the future of Africa, because me personally, I believe in God. So I know that God is already in the future. So I'm not scared. I'm not scared and I'm not worried, because I know that I just need to do what I have to do today to prepare the future, because what is going to happen tomorrow, it depends on what I'm doing today. And that's why I work so hard, and some other fellas, some other colleagues, they work so hard right now, because they know if we're not going to do anything right now, tomorrow we're going to have a trouble. So we need to do everything we can right now to secure the future of the next generation tomorrow. So I'm very positive about that. Africans, it's a time to rise up. It's a time to stand up. It's no longer a time to sleep. It's no longer a time to wait for someone else to bring about change. It's a time for us to take initiative. It's not the time to complain about the government, to complain about the Westerners, to complain about parents. No. You take initiative and make difference. Because a lot of time I say this, if you see the problem, that means you are the solution. Because if you don't know the solution, then why in the world you see the problem? That means you are the solution. We are the solution of this generation, and we can secure the future for the next generation, for our children in the next generation. So the time is now for us to stand up, to wake up, to work with everything we got, without complaining, blaming. No. Just do your part. If all of us, we do our part, we come together as one people, we defend this continent, we defend our children, we defend the integrity of Africa. I'm telling you, the Africa of tomorrow, it's going to be way better than the way it is today.
Well, Mika, the young Pan-Africanist, I really appreciate and just thank you for your time.
Asante sana.
Well, everyone, that's it for now. Diplomatic Corner. Until we meet you next week with another guest. Have a wonderful time.